Hey everyone, it's Ryzen, and welcome back to Let's Play Grandia. Let's head over to the... Hey, Lulu, stop attacking my timer. It's okay, honey. Freaking cat. She's going after the string on my timer. Yeah, kitties go crazy over that stuff. You talk to... yeah. Oh, they were able to make up. Yeah, nice little side quest with them. That's basically all there is to that side quest. Just find the pen and get your reward. That's pretty cool. So anyway, we have a point-and-click map system in this game. So we start on the continent of Messina, but basically as the story progresses, we'll head to new continents, and we won't be able to go back to previous areas. But there's also times, and this is a bit silly, where you lose access to areas within the region you're currently in, which is really stupid, but whatever. We gotta pass through the Marna Road in order to get through the Salt Ruins, but fortunately, we don't have to come back through here later on. So, we can just kind of go through now. So, anyway, before we get into the battles, let's take a look at how the mechanics work. So, you see we have swords, maces, and axes at level 1. Maces and bows at level 1 as well for Sue. There's magic in the game, but I'll go over that when it becomes relevant. It's not relevant right now. So anyway, when we level up swords, we get +1 to strength, +2 to wit. That's effectively how fast you get your turn in this game. It's different from the movement stat. Agility is actually how fast you move around the battlefield. Yeah, and then movement is how far you can move, but that's a separate stat altogether. So yeah, every level we gain for swords, we gain those stats there. And it works the same for maces and axes. You can see what the stats they give you there. And here's Sue's stats there as well. So, her stat gains. And as you gain, every level you gain for weapons, you gain one more skill point, which is how you use your abilities there. And you can see the requirements for the abilities there. So, to learn the next ability for Justin, we need level 6 swords, level 4 maces. So, that's the way it works there. Effectively, you need 100 experience in order to level up. There are regular levels in the game, but they do very, very little, so I would not rely on them. We'll start with swords for now. No, we'll start with the wood. We'll leave with the wood pole. That's fine. So anyway, we got bows equipped and maces equipped for Justin. So let's get in our first battle here. The battle system is a bit different. Depending on how you touch the enemy on the battlefield will determine whether, much like Earthbound, it's a preemptive strike or an ambush or no advantage. It is very easy to get ambushed in not Earthbound. Well, it is in Earthbound too at times, but in Grandia, because much like Earthbound actually, your party members have a hitbox. So when you have 4 party members, it's quite easy to get touched from behind in this game. Usually not a big deal though. But all ambushes do is the enemy's bar starts a little further on the little turn gauge on the bottom there than you do. And sometimes they won't even get a turn because they'll be so slow anyway. But anyway, basically you see your character's turn will slowly move to the right. Once it hits that little line next to act, you can choose your command. And then your character will reset back at the beginning of the... or somewhere towards the left side of the action bar, depending on the action that they used previously. So, here's how you defend. If you select evade, you can actually move around the battlefield. Endure is just basic defend. You can actually look at enemies and see what they're doing, but you see how it says standby? Their turn is not actually far enough for me to see what they're doing right now, which is problematic. They need to be closer to that comm text there for it to show up. There is an AI system in the game as well. You can set single tactics or party tactics. But I don't really use the AI system that much, and with one exception. Obviously, items, you can use any item in your inventory. If you hold R1, you can see how much MP you have left, but that doesn't matter. Hold L1, and you can see how much SP you have left. So, anyway, We have two basic attacks here, combo and critical. Critical is weaker, but it can inflict IP damage. So what that means is it'll damage the turn gauge of the enemy. So effectively, it pushes them back to the left. Combo hits twice, but it deals more damage. Each hit is weaker than a critical, but it'll do more damage overall because it's multiple hits. So anyway, I'm not sure actually if I can kill these guys in... Well, I'm afraid that Justin will kill them both with a combo, so I'm actually going to use a critical. These guys, Marna Bugs, are basically nothing to worry about whatsoever. Sue is weaker than Justin right now, so just go ahead and... yeah, there we go. That's what I thought would happen. So every time you attack an enemy with a weapon that you have equipped, you gain some experience. So Justin gained 5 weapon experience. Sue gained 10. So there you go. The amount of weapon experience you get depends on the level of the enemy and the level of your skill or your current weapon. Magic will work much the same, but you have to actually cast spells. And I'll go over that when it's appropriate, like I said. So now we got the Marna Centipede. These guys have a bit higher HP, but nothing that worrisome. Certain abilities have cancel effects on them. For example, the Marna Bug has a cancel ability. I believe it's called String Orb, which can stun you and inflict cancel. So effectively, that means it does IP damage. If you hit a critical attack on an enemy when they are in the act portion of it, that little white part of the bar, of the turn bar, it will actually outright cancel their action, which can be very useful. It doesn't always work because there is some innate resistance to it from some enemies, but that's typically only bosses. Anyway, we can feel free to combo these guys. Now watch Centipede B's turn gauge. You see how I canceled it there and it moved to the left? That's a cancel. So that's how that works. If they're not in the act gauge, it'll still damage their IP, or turn order. It'll just push it back to the left, and it won't be quite as severe as if it was an outright cancel. So, something to keep in mind. Now, another thing is, you see how I entered a command to attack there, and I got hit with what was called a counter. What happened there is, basically, I was trying to do a command, but I got hit in the middle of my actual action. Because of that, I took a little extra damage. The same applies to you interrupting the attacks of an enemy with your own attacks. It won't actually cancel it, but you will get more. You will deal more damage or take more damage depending on who's hitting the counter. And again, how far you can move across the battlefield depends on your movement. Now, what I've done basically is I've set up level goals for each area. So for this area, what I would like to do is I would like to get Justin's maces and swords up to level 2. Let's collect the money here. That's 10 gold, by the way. Trust me, it's 10 gold. These guys don't take long at all, so I'm probably not going to edit them out, but later on, I will. Okay, so he's using String Orb, so what I could do is I could cancel it. But since I can kill these guys so quickly, I'm not going to worry about it. These guys are all vanilla enemies, so I wouldn't worry at all about them. Okay, so Justin can do a combo on them without killing them. Good to know.
Pretty easy, right?
If you defeat an enemy without taking any damage, you get pretty badass, victory music. Nice touch. If I do get really, really close to my level goal, but like I'm off by like 1 battle or something, 1 or 2 battles, then I'll do a bit of micro grinding in the area. But other than that, there will be very little grinding in this game, other than water elemental grinding, which I highly recommend doing because water is really hard to level up normally. It's quite possible to do so, but I wouldn't recommend it. So let's head over and just keep attacking. Not much else to do here. Just use your basic standard attacks here. Combos will also give you more weapon experience because, of course, you're hitting twice instead of once. There are ways to increase the number of combos or critical hits with accessories, but we don't have those for quite some time. See, I got a counter on that guy, so I did more damage. There may be times when I want to skip somebody's turn as well, in order to drag the fight out to get certain experience. You can see the different levels of MPs. The game kind of works like Final Fantasy 1's spell charge system, only there's a ton of spells. Or there's only 3 levels of spells, and they take differing amounts of MP. But for now, don't worry about magic. We can't do anything with it for quite some time. So this battle will take a little bit longer. Once we get through the first area, this dungeon is only one screen, so just a little pass-through area. Then I'll start editing out some battles, obviously. But just to give you an idea of the battle system, it is quite different from a standard battle system. So that shooting Thorns attack will unfortunately inflict cancel on me if I don't take them out. Now another thing to note is that you can recover for free at save points, which is going to be very useful for allowing us to use our abilities more often. Also, one thing about Sue that is pretty annoying is that she has this weird thing that happens to her when she gets hit, where she gets stunned, and that only happens to her. It doesn't happen to any other character in the game. There is like a stun effect, but she has like her own unique stun animation anytime she's hit, which you would think would make Sue really, really bad. However, is that it for the enemies over here? Sue is actually arguably the best character in the game because of a certain ability she has. Now, I'm going to spoil something minor about Sue. It's not a big spoiler, but essentially this game consists of a lot of temporary party members. Sue, unfortunately, is one of them. However, Sue is around for a long time. Nearly the entirety of Disc 1, so I highly recommend leveling Sue, because when a character does leave permanently, you are able to transfer 1/3 of their gained experience, not total levels, gained experience. So if I gained, 21 levels, I could transfer over 7. Plus the extra experience she has. It doesn't round it. You get the full amount. So I just got ambushed there, because it touched Sue there. So, if I get 22, I get 7 and some change, basically. You see how Justin took a weird path there? Yeah, that's why I like the air sneakers so much, because sometimes the pathing in the game is really, really weird, and I don't know why that is. But it's incredibly awkward, and it can cause you to waste your turn. If you see some sweat drops show up above your character, you've essentially wasted their turn. No reason to use our abilities right now. So if you just stick with one weapon, basically, you'll be very underpowered. So that's why I went to switch weapons. Like right now, I'll be switching to the wood pole, or the wooden sword, sorry. So as you can see, I have 2 level 2 mace, but level 1 swords. I'm also gaining less weapon experience now at level 2, so something to keep in mind. I'd like to get Sue up to level 3 throwing weapons, if I could. And I'd like to get both of Justin's weapons here to level 2. I can't work on axes, obviously, because, well, he doesn't have an axe. I should be able to, but I might need to do a little bit of micro grinding for Sue. If I do get Justin up to level 2 for his swords, I'll probably actually skip his turns until Sue finishes her where I'd like her to be. So don't be afraid to work on Sue's stuff. She's around for such a long time, it's totally worthwhile. And she can actually become one of the most powerful characters in the game, so. Mainly because of an easy way to level her up. She's almost ban-worthy, really. I mean, she's that good a party member, so. Her eventual replacement is just, frankly, not as good as her. At least, initially. You can make that character massively powerful, but you have to put a lot of work in it. And Sue will end up having better stats, even by the end of the game, I believe, so. But that's alright. Eventually, her replacement will end up getting an ability that will outdamage anything she could do, but he'll never be as durable as she is. Which I know sounds really strange, but oh well. So just keep attacking. Oh, I should have gone after the... yeah. So you see how he kind of pushed back my turn bar there. He might have been hard to notice, but shooting Thorns is an IP damaging attack.
Alright, we won!
Most enemies have like 1 cancel attack. It's usually not much to worry about. But it is there. Get some money up here. Should be 10G. The other big money pile was 30G, by the way. So this is a dungeon scope. You hit X on it, and you can see a little area around you. But unlike in towns, you can't move it around. So they're kind of useless, but whatever. I'll go a little long, but because we're already almost done with this area. See how, unfortunately, Justin is now one-shotting those guys sometimes with a combo, which is actually not good. I would prefer him not do that because, well, I want him getting more experience, but not much I can do about it. Also, if you do use, say, that V-slash ability that Justin has, he'll gain experience for the weapon he has. It just will only be for 1 hit. Now, what I did there, and that was actually luck that I did that, but I had Sue and Justin hit the enemy at the same time. Even though Justin probably would have one-shot that enemy, because Sue hit it about the same time, the game gave me credit for both attacks and just combined the damage together. Which can help you level up, but I wouldn't rely on that. It's kind of hard to actually have that happen on a consistent basis. I just got lucky there. I wasn't actually trying to do it. I do have a decent feel for it at times, but it's not great. So we'll just keep comboing these guys. The other thing about Grandia is that it is considered very, very easy, as you can see. That's if you know what you're doing. The game is pretty easy to break, unfortunately. It's just this leveling system. It's just not... It's hard to implement this leveling system all that well. Grandia is no exception to that. And the invincibility there caused me to get ambushed. Yeah, when you're flashing there, you can't immediately get into another battle, which unfortunately means that enemies can pass through you and then end up touching you from behind when you're... Well, I hit it twice there again. Cool. When you're susceptible to a battle again. We've only got a couple items left to get. There's an item to the right here, but I want to, or east, I guess. But I want to grab the rest of these enemies first. Oh yeah, as you can see, there's no random encounters. Now, enemies do not respawn based on going to a different room in the dungeon. However, they will respawn if you reload. Or if you save and then load. Which could be useful if you want to grind. It's also something to keep in mind if you take a break in an area. So, yeah, you see I'm taking 0 damage now. If you get your vitality stat high enough, that's your defense stat, you can take 0 damage. It's actually not that hard to do, which is another reason why the game is so easy. So Justin is about to level up his swords. So I will show you what I do when I reach a leveling goal for somebody. And I'm not sure if I'll have enough enemies left for the other character or something. Oop. So here we go. He'll get this on this battle here. So I know I only need 1 attack, because these guys will give him 5 experience. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use a critical, because that will get him the experience that I want. And then Sue will get her experience that she needs. There she goes. So I did there is I deliberately dragged the battle out for Sue to get most of the experience there. One of the things you can do here. Another thing I might do is I might use, say, a buffing spell to start a battle. Or maybe some sort of crowd control to gain experience. You know, things like that. So we got the Marna Bug here. So Justin, I don't care to level up anymore in this area, so we'll just have him defend. We could also have him evade. When you do use evasion, you actually are more likely to evade an attack. So, let's see if we can get it to work. Oh, we actually flat out dodged it just by moving. But if you do evade, you kind of like do this weird sidestep thing. But it's like you don't like actually sidestep. It's like you slide away from the enemy, if I remember right. But anyway, this will ensure that Sue gets all the experience from this battle, which is what I care for now. Just to give you an idea of how I kind of handle leveling up in the game. Don't worry at all about regular experience points. They mean basically nothing in the game. Regular levels mean next to nothing. If you hit R2, you can cycle which exit the dungeon is pointing to. But there's no clear indication as to which exit is which if you forgot, and that's kind of problematic. I think they fixed that in Grandia too, but I don't remember. We want to head over to the east. And all the way in the southeast of this northern section is going to be the final item of the area. So we're almost done here. Because there's so many enemies here, I'm going to go ahead and actually have Justin contribute here, because there's 4 enemies, and I don't feel like having this battle take forever. Especially since I don't think he can one-shot them. Oh, he can one-shot them. Sue cannot yet. If an enemy is defending, take advantage of that, because I would actually allow them to defend a lot of times, because as long as you can do 1 damage through their defend, you can get experience for it, and it can help you drag battles out, which is very, very useful.
Hip hip hooray!
I think Sue got to level 3 throwing weapons. Yes, she did. So I've reached my leveling goals. Usually it's tighter for me to do that, but I'll take it. So I think I'm going to edit out the... No, I think there's only like 2 more battles left, so we might as well do them on screen. We'll go for half an hour today, but most of the episodes will not be this long. I'll try to keep them to the 15-minute range if I can. 15 to 20-minute range. Grandia is a pretty long game, but editing really sucks. No, it's just editing out the battles. There's so many of them. It's going to be unpleasant at times. This game really loads the game up with them. So we'll get this first. Well, I would have gotten it if, you know, the game actually allowed me to. That's alright. Another thing is, if you need healing, this Rah ability heals both Justin and Sue. It is very, very good. And it's quite a bit of healing at this point in the game, so... But these guys can't even hurt me anymore. Sue will get a lot of vitality because of that mace.
What a cinch.
She can get a lot of strength too because the bows give strength as well. I'm still working on stuff here because I've reached my leveling goals, but the more I work on it here, the closer I can get to my next leveling goal. By the way, weapons can level up to level 99. That is completely unnecessary. You never need to go that high. There's only one ability that requires something to get to 99, and that's because of a bug. Anyway, we get the Officer's Baton. It's a better mace. I could equip it, but I don't think I need to right now. I'm not using a mace right now. Yeah, we got a couple more enemies. Now, one thing that is kind of annoying is you cannot equip... You can't change your weapon in battle here, unfortunately. At least as far as I know. So that's kind of lame. But whatever.
Pretty easy, right, puppy?
So once we get through this area, I'm going to end the episode, and next episode I'll start actually editing out battles. So hopefully that sort of gives you a basic idea of the battle system. Obviously it takes skill points to use skills, it takes MP or magic points to use magic. Oh, by the way, to access your skills, when you go to moves, when you go to moves and magics, you just hit left to get to it. You start on moves by default. R and L will cycle through your magic levels 1, 2, and 3. The only ability we have right now is V/, and then Sue has her 2 abilities. I think Puffy Kick is a cancel ability, but I forget. I hardly ever use it. V/ I think can cancel as well. Now, the usefulness of canceling with an ability is that abilities will actually freeze time when you do them. So, unfortunately, some of them require the character to run up in real time, and then it'll freeze time. Others are just instant time freezes, and they do the ability. It depends on the ability. V-Slash, I believe, requires Justin to run up to the enemy. Whereas his mid-air cut he'll eventually get does not. In fact, I think, let's give an example here. Puffy Kick, I believe, does not require you to run up, but V-Slash does. Yeah, you see how Puffy Kick, she's just doing it instantly. V-Slash, you see how Justin had to actually run up and then time froze? Now, those abilities will still give me weapon experience.
What a cinch.
I think Puffy Kick will still give me weapon experience. Yes, it does. So there you go. That's an example of how abilities work. Obviously, magic abilities will level up your magic. There are abilities that will level up both magic and weapon abilities at the same time. But those are few and well, not few and far between, but there aren't like a ton of those. There are certain abilities that are better for leveling things than others, and I'll go over those as we get them. Like, I would not recommend using V-Slash to level up swords or maces or whatever.
What a cinch.
You can use V-Slash with any ability, any weapon type, by the way. Same with Puffy Kick and Rah-Rah. I forget if Rah-Rah gives you weapon experience. I don't think it does. I don't think it gives you anything. You do get experience from buffs and stuff, by the way. It goes by a different formula. I think it goes by, I think it's fixed. With diminishing returns eventually. As you get higher level. With that, whatever element the buff happens to be. So I'm going to head back to Lily's house to save. Should we see Sue's parents? Yeah, these are her adopted parents, effectively. Her aunt and uncle, so she lost her parents, like all good JRPG characters. Okay, so let's go talk to Lily, save up. Next time we'll go to the Salt Ruins. Oh. What? Okay then. So save the game. You can still get money from her if you want, but it's not really that relevant. So anyway, if you have any questions about the battle system, I'll try my best to answer them. It's pretty basic once you get it, but it is pretty different from just about anything I've ever played before in any other JRPG. So the Grandia games have a pretty unique battle system. So anyway, like I said, next time Salt Ruins. And I'm going to end this one here. This is Ryzen. Thanks for watching. Take care.